Intermediary liability for copyright infringement is focused on whether intermediaries have authorised a copyright infringement. In Australia, the Copyright Act provides that a person who authorises a copyright to be infringed is liable. The University of New South Wales and Moorhouse concerned Section 101 of the Copyright Act and examined whether the university in which photocopying facilities were maintained had authorised copyright to be infringed. In this case, a person acting on behalf of the Australian Copyright Council used the photocopying machines at the university to make infringing copies of a book obtained in the library. The university failed to adequately direct attention to users about laws concerning copyright. The High Court held that the university was liable for authorising infringement. This decision, in particular the judgments of Justices Gibbs and Jacobs, contained powerful judicial consideration which has been used in subsequent cases in addressing issues of authorization. This case encompasses the modern test for establishing liability, which was subsequently inserted into the Copyright Act. This test was laid down by Justice Gibbs as follows. The university had the power to control both the use of the books and the use of the machines. In the circumstances, if a person who was allowed to use the library made a copy of a substantial part of a book taken from the open shelves of the library, it can be inferred that the university authorized him to do so, unless the university had taken reasonable steps to prevent an infringing copy of that kind from being made. In adopting that test, the court had to consider the term authorise and whether the university could be held to have authorised an act even though they had not directly allowed the book to be copied. Justice Gibbs confirmed the term's ordinary dictionary meaning to sanction, approve, or countenance. His Honour also endorsed the view that a person will not be found to authorise unless the person has some power to prevent, for example, at least know or have reason to suspect that an infringing act could occur. In order for the university to negate the inference of authorization, he recognised they needed to show that reasonable steps had been taken and these steps needed to be reasonably sufficient in preventing the infringement. Justice Jacobs, on the other hand, recognised that the word authorise has a wide meaning and confirmed that it was not limited to authorising of an agent by principle and that authorization was wider than authority. His Honour thought that the acts and omissions must be looked at in the circumstances of the case and that the point in issue was whether there was an unlimited invitation to users to use the photocopying facilities as each individual thought fit. He was thus suggesting that if there were relevant qualifications to the invitation, then the university would not have been found to authorise. This was a much more lenient view than Justice Gibbs had adopted. On the facts, the university made books available in its library and provided the facilities to copy those books. They had, however, taken steps to prevent infringement, including placing notices near the photocopying machines, providing library guides, and having library attendants. In regards to the notices and library guides, these were found to contain irrelevant sections of the Copyright Act and were misleading, and as such were not appropriate measures. The library attendant, on the other hand, were found to only look after the maintenance of the machines and had no involvement in ensuring users did not infringe copyright. So although the university had taken steps, these steps were not enough to satisfy the requirements of Justices Gibbs and Jacobs. Based on their judgment, it seems that the only way the university would have escaped liability would have been to actively ensure that each user utilised the machines for a legitimate purpose by means such as employing a supervisor to watch over and ensure that each person uses the machine within their rights. Thank you.